Hello friends, today we are going to be looking at the long monotongues or the long pure vowels. Now in the very exposition before this exposition, we looked at short vowels, we looked at a couple of things, so today we're going to be looking at the long version. So quickly let's see our vowel cardinals. So right here is our primary vowel cardinal. This is the basic one. We saw this in the previous exposition. If you've not seen the previous exposition, I urge you to quickly go ahead and learn one or two things from it. So as you can see, the E sound and the U and so on and so forth, the way this is arranged here. And today we're going to be looking at the long monotongues or the long pure vowels. The monotongues are also called the pure vowels. So today we're going to be looking at the long E sound, the long A sound, the long U sound, I beg your pardon, the long S sound, the long O sound, and right here the long A sound. So we're going to be looking at examples on them, and we're going to be looking at the qualities they have and what really makes them different from the short ones we learned before this very time. So look at this. The first we're going to be looking at is I call this the long S sound actually, but it looks very much like the schwa sound, the very special weak schwa sound. So this is pronounced as It's called the So how to pronounce it? Look at this. This is serve, serve. Now it's optional for you to add your to it or not. So there's a serve, and next we have the burn, burn. This burn, the house is burning, and next we have is first, the first child. And now probably when you look at this, when you look at this very sound, this very long version of air sound is being pronounced between what we call the mid close and the mid open. In the previous exposition, we talked about the tongue being shared into three major parts: the front part of the tongue, the back part of the tongue, and there's the middle part of the tongue. And we said this actually the closed part where the sounds are made, sounds that have been produced by this place are closed. This is mid close, this is mid open, and this is open. So the long is pronounced between the mid close and the mid open, and also just like the schwa sound, very much like it. So most words with er, serve, and so on and so forth, research, and so on and so forth, has this long sound. So okay, now let's see the long o sound. Now when you look at the longer sound, we have examples like wall, you see the ar there. We have door, and we have or. Now when you pronounce the longer sound of the word, the leaves are strongly rounded. The longer sound, the leaves are strongly rounded. Your leaves are not in a neutral position like the longest sound. Your leaves are strongly rounded. Now let's see what the longer sound looks like. Now when you look at the longer sound, you look at where the longer sound is situated. It's quite different from the shorter sound. Unlike the shorter sound is situated a little bit below the mid open, but also very close to the back of the tongue. But this one is situated far above the mid open and very close to the mid close. So for the shorter sound is more open than the long or sound. And the longer sound is also as far away from the middle part of the tongue, just like the shorter sound. So that's that for the longer sound. So we have wall, we have door, we have or. So quickly, let's look at the long E sound. This is the E. E, we call this E. So look at, we have beam, EA. If you look at this EA, most words with EA give us a long E sound, beam. We have team, EE, watch this, EE, team, P, and so on. And also another one, we have lead. Who's going to lead the team? Lead, EA. Now when you make the sound, your leaves are spread out. Your leaves are not rounded, your leaves are not neutral, your leaves are spread out. If you stand in front of the mirror and pronounce these words: beam, team, lead. And now if you look at the long E sound, the long E sound is different from the short E sound. Unlike the short E sound that's been pronounced, the short E sound is closer to the mid close, and it's also closer to the central part of the tongue. But the long E sound is not as close as that. The long E sound is very much like this sound here, the general one. The long E sound is very close to is almost a completely closed sound, and is extremely close to the front part of the tongue. So quickly, let's look at the long oo sound. This is oo, oo. This is a longer sound. Now, most words with double letters like oo, we have words with oo like fool, like wool, and so you see that oo, that's fool. OU also soup, the soup. Then EW like crew, this is crew, or drew, and so on and so forth. You have a whole lot of examples on them. Now, when this word has been pronounced, or when the sound has been made, the leaves are slightly rounded. The leaves are slightly rounded, but not as rounded as a long or sound. So let's see. If we look at the long U sound, the long U sound also is different from the short U sound. Unlike the short U sound, that is closer to the mid close and also very close to the central part of the tongue, the short U sound is taking a different course. The short U sound is not as close to the mid closed and is also very close to the back of the tongue. Lastly, we're going to be looking at the long R sound. This is ah. This is a longer sound. Ah, the longer sound. So longer sound as in we have car. This car. Americans prefer the car. Just take off the long vowel and add an to it. Then this half, and this is pass. And the sound I want you to take note of. Now I want to take note of this. Most times letter R or rhotic makes sounds to be stressed. So most times, if there is no R in a word, you may not have a long sound. But when you have an R in a word, expect the sound to be quite very long. So as you can see, that this is R because the presence of the R, because the presence of the letter R. I beg your pardon. And also when you look at words like OO, words with double identical letters like OO, like EE, you find out that the sounds are always stressed. So for the long R sound, the leaves are in a neutral position, just like the the long S sound. And also in the previous exposition, I forgot to tell us that short sound and inverted V also, when they're pronounced, our leaves will be in a neutral position, just like the longer sound and the long sound, like So at this very point, you're going to be drawing the curtain on today's exposition. If you found this resourceful, or if you find it resourceful as always, please subscribe to this very channel and share this exposition. See you in the next exposition. Thanks.